Hello to all on Women Dialogues, and I'm your host Shashi with you all to create more voice for women and by women. And today's our guest, Anita Caprice from Michigan, United States. She is a mom of two beautiful young daughter along with their family. She is a doctor in metaphysics and a member of the International Metaphysical Ministries, and she is the chairperson of all in ladies league and women economic forum, and she is a leading in global chairperson for spirituality in all ladies league globally. So this is very exciting. I'm really happy to have Anita with us today to hear, to get inspired and to get a little bit spiritual touch if we get opportunity to hear by her. And thank you so much, Anita, for joining us, for giving us this opportunity to get to know more about and get a little bit inspiration and spirituality along with this beautiful women dialogue. So welcome.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Dr. Shashi. Thank you. I'm honored and blessed. Yes, absolutely. When you reached out to me, I was like, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. It's such a great pleasure. And I'm really humbled the way you had the feeling for women dialogue. So when we start talking about women dialogue and we start talking about the work you are doing, the way you are is a chairperson for spirituality for all, ladies league. Starting for before reaching being a chairperson, we would like to hear your life journey. How you started your life journey? How was your early life? Kindly share with us.
Oh, absolutely. Let's see, my early life. Well, let me start by, we all have a path that we come here on this life. And I call
Yeah,
it to express the attributes of the universe, the divine goddess, whatever. Okay.
yeah.
Um, my path has always been spiritual. I've always had this yearning to understand my relationship. And I'm going to use, I may use God, creator, goddess, I may use it interchangeably. However, I'm meaning the same source, the divine source. And it's always been very important to me, even before my teens, to find my relationship. What was my relationship with the creator? During my teen years, it really began to peak. And I think my relationship, when I think about going back, I think about as I'm growing up, my relationship with my relationship with the creator, I believe stemmed from knowing who I am and just didn't know about it, knowing, realizing or not realizing that there were things in me that I was searching for. It's like, going around the corner to get to where you're going.
Right.
Well, it's always been a search for me. And even in, let's see, in 1907, well, I'm not going to say the year, my daughters would say, Ma, but anyway, I gave birth to beautiful twin girls.
Right.
And when, yes, and when that happened, it was like my yearning deepened because I wanted them to know and have a relationship with God. And I was still searching myself, like, what is? Because I was brought up to believe that God is a masculine figure and that
Mm,
God is outside. So that
mm,
confused me, doctor. I mean, here I am, a girl. I'm a girl at this point. I'm a teenager, and I'm saying, well, that
right.
doesn't make sense because if I'm a girl, then that means I'm not worthy because I'm not
Mm,
a boy.
right.
Because if the Almighty is masculine, then there's something
Wow.
wrong. And why would God create me to be
Yeah.
inferior? So
Yeah.
I had issues with that. And then that outside thing, I remember
Mm,
walking down the street. I was 16 and I had this
yeah.
big, huge afro. I used to wear this big, huge afro as far as my hair. And I was looking up into the sky saying, I don't understand. I was like, well, how would you know that I'm here among the billions of people on earth? What
Right.
is it about me that would be special that you up in there, would know that I am here? So
Right.
that even made me more lonely, even though I had family, siblings, and around love. I felt love,
Yes.
absolutely. You know what I mean? So it
Right.
wasn't like, oh, I was impoverished and my family didn't care for me or love me. It's nothing like that. It was just
Mm-hmm.
a deep yearning for my own connection with God, the universe. So during those times in searching, my life did lead me through some shadow paths
Right. Right.
because I was searching. I subsequently learned that what I was searching for out there, I
Yeah.
had in here all along. So I would
Mm-hmm.
search, I would go on several shadow paths that were
Right.
not really conducive, but it was my way of altering so that I can try to find my relationship with God, you know?
Right.
So in after my daughters were born, I got a job with the Michigan Department of Corrections. It was Wayne County at that time. Well, I
Mm-hmm.
spent 19 years with that job, and in the interim, doing my thing, whatever, and learning and growing because I studied many various different religious ideologies. I'm a religious
Right.
pluralist, is what I call people, because
Right.
I embrace the religions and the
Mm-hmm.
spirituality. Well, in 1998, I was working. I had already I had incurred 19 years tenure with this job, so I was set. I had insurance. My daughters, they were in college at that time. Well,
Mm-hmm.
in the 80s, I'm gonna go back here in
Mm-hmm.
1980, in searching for my relationship, I discovered
Mm-hmm.
metaphysics. And that's when I embrace the metaphysical concept because it is beyond the physical and within.
Right.
So at that time, I learned about meditation and things like that. Well, I would start meditating, doctor, and at some point when I would meditate, during meditation, I would hear this. I call it a feel heard kind of thing, and I would
Mm-hmm.
hear this. You're going to have to leave the state. You're going to have to leave your job on a wing and a prayer. Well, that
Mm-hmm.
scared me. I was a single mom, so supportive of my girls. I mean, anywhere in the world. So I'm like, it scared me. So I stopped meditating. I said, I don't want to. I don't even want to entertain that. But all through
Right.
life, I was always saying to people, I'm from the state of Missouri. State of Missouri means you got to show me. So I was always
Right.
saying, God, you got to show me. You got to show me. If I'm to
Uh-huh.
believe in you, you got to show me.
Right.
So, so when I started meditating, it was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, you get ready to get shown. You're
Uh-huh.
going to have to leave. So I stopped meditating like for years. And then a couple of years later, I would start beginning to meditate again because I missed it. The connection, but I still kept hearing it wouldn't leave me alone. You're going to have to leave. So I would stop again. Well, at one point in 1998, my spirit, it was like there's that fear, and then there's that, but you have to, that I can't even describe it. That it's not a desire because it was a fear, that I
Mm-hmm.
knew that I had to leave. So in 1998, I left 19 years tenure with the job. I left, no pension, no this, no that. And even before I left, one of my friends who was in human resources that deal with personnel files and everything, and she said, Anita, she said, with your tenure, she said, why don't you take a waive rights leave of absence? And that means that I could take a leave, and if it doesn't work, I can come back. And I shared with her, I said, I can't do that. I mean, it was very tempting, but I said, I can't do that. I said, because if I leave on the thought of being able to return for waive rights leave of absence, I'm stepping out with lack of faith. I'm already starting out with lack of faith. So I couldn't do that. So in the interim, after leaving 1998, there were the journey, not the journey, there were times that the journey has been very difficult. Although it did show me that it was my perception that made it difficult. For I was shared with people for 7 years, I experienced a severe financial hardship after leaving, but the journey thus far taught me, no, I was blind to what I had because I was so intent on looking at what I didn't have, that I didn't have money, that I may not have had a car. However, I got to go everywhere that I needed to go. I always had food, but I didn't see that blessing. I just saw what we see as what is considered successful, you know, what's on the
Yeah.
outside. It's about our material. So I learned that at that point that, okay, years down, because I'm 64 years of age, and this journey is still new for me. And that's what I share with all of us. It's a new journey. But the learning what we learn, I have since recovered that that 7 years, it was a 7 year hardship because of the way I looked at it. It wasn't, not because of the way the reality of it was. And even just leaving and moving on up, leaving the Michigan Department of Corrections, I had kept for years a secret shame because I left my job in 1998. Here I am to go on my spiritual path. 10 years would come, Dr. Sashi, and I would look and say, what have you done? Look at you. You've done nothing. 10 years. You could have stayed at that job. And I was embarrassed. I wouldn't share with people how, you know, oh, I would say that I left this job to do something, but I never would say to continue on my spiritual path, because to my mind, I had not gotten any further where I was 1978. And that was a hardship. That brought on many tears and fears and disappointments in my life. Then it became 20 years later. And okay, what, you really messed up. By this time, you would have been 30 years in that job, a beautiful pension. You left all of this because of some spiritual path. And 20 years, can you imagine feeling like after 20 years, what a failure that you may have be thinking, like, what have I done? Nothing as far as spiritual growth. Well, I'm only saying that to say this, so beautiful, who's ever watching, and you, doctor, just the other day, I was speaking with my sister and I was sharing with her, I started crying because I got so full. I said, Jeannie, I said, all these years of feeling ashamed, and it still brings tears to my eyes now, but I'm not going to, because I got this mascara on. So, but I said, all these years of feeling ashamed, not sharing my shame and disappointment and embarrassment with myself. I said, all these years, today, as I'm talking with you, I've just felt I call it a feel heard, that I felt from the universe and saying, you are now where you are to be. All of these years, that journey, 1998 up until this point, you have courageously and humbly accepted the appointment of global chairperson in spirituality. It was like, you are where you are to be. Those steps that you took brought you to this place because it was already waiting for you. You just didn't see it. And now, so no longer do you need to be ashamed. No, oh my God, I'm sorry.
No. That's wonderful. And the way you explain, it's really, I know it's a lot of emotion, a lot of journey, a lot of incident, and a lot of movement you shared with us globally to share your journey, how you, remend yourself, I can say, because as I you was having, while following this spiritual path, but you was having guilt in your mind somewhere, in your mind, in your heart, that kind of, oh, whether my decision and my feelings was correct or not, because I always wanted to do that, my feelings were like this, but same time, and this so-called real world, you was finding mismatch because of the balancing act of life versus your own spirituality. So
Absolutely.
I'm hearing you. I can understand. But
Thank you.
when
I
you
know.
today when you share that, and I'm so happy that you shared, and you are today global chairperson of spirituality, and where you always wanted to be, where your feelings were leaning, your life was leaning always, and I think it made you the way you want it to be. So I'm
I'm
so happy
sorry.
for that. I'm really proud of that, that you are leading that way. But initially, when you were talking about this religion thing, religion, like you have studied a lot of religion and a lot of questions you were having in your mind, like having a god figure, which is whether it should be male, female, or
Mm,
just don't know, right? I think
mm,
this question is in many people mind, because as when we want to see the god who looks like us, who is like us, right? There should
mhm,
not be a particular definition of being something like, okay, it should like that, it should be like this, or it should not be like this. So that's very important. And I think
mm,
we all should understand the way we want to see ourselves, the way we want to have our faith, and the way we want to find our spirituality path in our life to have our inner peace, right?
mhm.
So while hearing you mentioned about your other struggles as well. Being a single mom, you had two beautiful daughters, and God bless that they all are today having their very beautiful life with your beautiful son-in-laws and
Yeah.
your grandma, and all are like flourishing. But meanwhile, while having that journey, being a single mom, it seems like you might be having a lot of challenges as well. Would you like to share some of the challenges, how you overcome, how those come in your life, and when each time you were having these challenges, what kind of thoughts process was going on? Because it's not you, it's in many people, many women, they face similar situation,
Mhm.
but maybe your how you overcome that can be learning for many others.
Oh, absolutely. I have to say, raising my girls, I'm just so, they are my life. I love my girls, my family. That's why, I said I always in every single bio, it starts with
Mhm.
Anita is a mom and grandma. I mean,
Yeah,
that's very important to me.
yeah.
Raising my daughters, and of course I have my family. Um, Raising them, it was a lot of times it was scary. There were times I was in the bed crying for fear of their future. Especially when they were going through academic the schools, and say if the grades weren't as they should be, or the mistakes that I've made, because I've made a lot of mistakes. I mean, I would share with people. I said my daughters, because they're both registered nurses in the burn unit. So I would share with people in a minute. I said, my daughters are magnificent and miracles in spite of what I may have done, because I have made mistakes. I still to this day struggle with some of the guilt that of the mistakes that I've made. But I'm learning um, that is like a karmic debt. Not that I'm being punished, but the karmic debt is that guilt alone is a karmic debt. And that
Hmm.
we have to learn how to let go of that guilt, because we do the best we can when we're in the position at that time, and do the best that we can. And that karmic debt just simply means that you are bringing a debt, because we are created. We are spiritual, beautiful beings having a human experience, and to experience guilt and not deserving. So my issue, and I call this a karmic debt. And the reason why I call them karmic debts is because if we are gods and goddesses, then there is no such thing as not feeling like you're not enough, feeling like you're not deserving, feeling like you're not worthy. So I call them karmic debts, because that's something that we have to overcome. And as a single mom, lessons have challenged me, that enforced me thinking I'm not enough, because that's been my karmic debt since I came on
Mhm.
this path. That's for me to subjugate, transfer, and eliminate. And we all have them, and it's okay, because once we learn what they are, it's like, okay. So those challenges, in raising my daughters, being a single parent, the fear alone of being a single a single parent. I would love to
Mhm.
have had a partner next to me.
Right,
I
right.
would have loved that. And that's why I shared, my dream, as well, my daughters were being raised, as they were growing up. Dr.
Mhm.
Shashi, my dream, the only dream that I had, was that my daughters graduate high school, my daughters graduate college, my daughters get into a career, my daughters get married, and my daughters have children, and the person that they marry adore them, and they adore their husband. And by the grace of the creator, my daughters graduated high school, my daughters graduated college with a BS in nursing, my daughters began RNs as nursing in the burn unit in the local hospital. My daughters, in the interim, they met their future husbands, and they were friends first, and then they got married, and one married 15 years, one married 14 years. So they're tenure, they're veterans in my book, and now they have children. And I am forever, to this day, my daughters are grown with grandchildren. To this day, when I'm praying, I will cry and thank thank the Almighty that for that blessing, that prayer was answered. To this day, it still fills me up. So, um, so I just say, when we're experiencing challenges, and one thing I'm learning too, challenges that come, that we encounter, these are merely, because I'm a poet, so, and I put that, challenges are merely opportunities for our soul to grow.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
all they are.
Yeah.
And those challenges, we bring those because I'm an energy gal. I believe, like, when we talk about, the universe and God and everything, to me, God, everything is energy. It is
Right.
creative energy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's me, the multiverse, universe. I mean, however, God is God, whatever. Energy. That's for me. So, with all of that saying, and that we have the power of
Mhm.
our energy, the electromagnetic, or of, I can get into all that stuff, but we have the dominion. So when I am encountering a challenge, to I'm learning that it is my soul to say, hey, I need this. I
Mhm.
need I need this, because I'm ready to move forward. So
Mhm.
each challenge is like, break. Yeah, that means we are ready to. That means we are ready to step into some more happiness, some more peace, some more joy, and that's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
I
And we're
think
not
that
going
the way, yeah, yeah, the way you
to.
explain about how the energy we channelize between our challenges and our energy, how we make balance, that's a beautiful way to describe, because we often forget that we all have this our inner energy and strength to handle all those challenges which we feel those are challenges, or which we face as a challenge in our life. And it's a beautiful reminder, by sharing your life story, by sharing this, the way you always having the dream of your family, to see them successful, to see your beautiful families growing. And as a single mother, you share those challenges, those dull moments, like one can feel, but same time, how you channelize that energy by having that faith, by having that energy to overcome that challenge. It's a beautiful, and I think it's a very good reminder at the right time, especially when we are facing this global pandemic, and we all are having some kind of challenges in our life. When
Absolutely.
we feel this pandemic is going on, people are having a lot of fear, but same time, maybe keeping them this reminder, giving them this reminder that we all have this inner energy to face and to overcome this.
Absolutely.
situation. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. One thing as far as with the pandemic and everything, I know there are different theories and things. One that I really do embrace is that I know there's been just tragedies and that goes without saying, and my heart goes out to people that have experienced the destructive negative, because there's positive negative and destructive negative. People that have experienced the destructive negative of this COVID situation. On the flip side, I do believe that it was meant and necessary, not for the experiences, but because I think of the planet as a living thing. And we have not been kind to the planet. We have abused her. We have used her. And I think of there's a socialist, I believe, Karl Marx in history.
Mm-hmm.
He had said
Mm-hmm.
that, and he talked about people. And he said,
Right.
when you repress and oppress
Mm-hmm.
a people long
Mm-hmm.
enough, it's going to revolt. And one
Yeah.
time I was just walking around my apartment and that thought came to me and I said, oh my God, the planet revolted. The planet said, I cannot allow you to continue to destroy me because the planet is living, it is alive. So I believe
Mm-hmm.
part of the COVID, that's part of what had happened. And even now, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
how many people have learned who they are because we've had to sit still? We
Mm-hmm.
have had to sit still. When I worked in the prison system, the 4 years before I left the state of Michigan, I did 4 years in the prison system, working in there. And I would
Mm-hmm.
talk with the guys in the prison system. We would just be chitting chatting, and I would ask, different things. One thing I learned, Dr. Sashi, is that every single one of them had a certain thread. They said they had no idea the talent
Mm-hmm.
they had until they were forced to sit in that cell and be by themselves. When we come to grips with ourselves, that's when we learn who we are. And that
Mm-hmm.
I, that stored in my mind for how how things resonate, you just keep them in your mind. And I think that's how the Tap Into You movement came about, because I'm the founder of Tap Into You, me live life from the inside out. We're external
Right.
data. We need external data to get validation. We need all that. The thing is now, say, learn to trust that spirit, power, presence, and love within you. Learn to live
Mm-hmm.
inside out, to trust your intuition, because they did. And I think this, getting back to the COVID, I think so many of us, I mean, we've come closer with our families. We've come more appreciative of, I think, Mother Nature. There are some of the animals. One time I was watching a documentary and they were saying how the little birds and the other little animals, they're starting to, you can see them in the forest because now they
Mm.
feel safe to come out, to come
Yeah.
about. That's a
Right.
beautiful thing. That's a
Right. Right.
beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so true. That is so true because, as you said, nature balance itself in its own way.
So
And
select.
we are also part of nature. We should not forget that we are above the nature. And the way you shared this, your metaphysical theory, it made it more beautiful, I think. And it made it a little bit get connection with the spiritual way. So, Dr. Anita, you do a lot of spiritual work as well, right? You are global chairperson of spirituality. Would you like to share some of the story where you made impact on someone's life by, creating this kind of work which you are doing?
Okay, yes, absolutely. To me, and this is a new role that I'm serving in. However, my intention is the to bring on the attributes of the All Michigan chair, that I was a chapter chairperson. Because see, in the chapter we have, as far as it's, okay, let me just stop. It's all about it's all about uplifting, encouraging, empowering, and inspiring sisters on a global level. So with the Michigan chapter for wellness and well-being, in our format, we have where we raise a sister. It's called Sister Sensation, where every month that sister is promoted. She's promoted on Facebook. She's promoted on LinkedIn. She's promoted on Twitter every week. When we also have Giving Back Committee, where we donate just a couple of dollars, and our social causes were domestic violence and suicide prevention. And we send our love offerings, because we call them love offerings, to these social organizations a month. We also have where sisters are able, if you want to hone in on your speaking skills, if you have a message and you want a supportive platform where you're able to either perfect your speaking skill or begin your speaking skill, this is the format to do that, because we are going to encourage you, we are going to inspire you, we are going to love on you. So we're, whatever, no scorekeeping, no judgmental, nothing like that. As a matter of fact, as the chair, what I would do, I had started doing, I said, when a sister would give a presentation, I would say, okay, I said, I said, I know it's a little stipend. I said, but I'm going to give you $5. I'm going to put $5 in your PayPal or Cash App. I said, now it's up to you how you look at that $5. I call it subconscious compensation. I said that $5, you can look at it that you are receiving $5,000 in compensation for delivering your message. You can look at it that you are receiving $5 million compensation in delivering your message, because we are elevating consciousness. So what I want to do, I'm just so excited about this. I really am. What I want to do is bring women who want to share with me, and we continue to encourage and inspire and lift us all in one unity, unity in groups and everything. I'm just so excited about that. And so I know that I'm going to be bringing, well, I've already said that I'm bringing in the format of the All Michigan chapter, because it's just a wonderful chapter. I'm taking and I like yours too. Before we go, I'm asking sisters to share with me and also give me permission, because I'm collating. A friend of mine gave me this idea. I call it my vibrant visionary, VG, Chaparral Traverso. She gave me an idea when I had shared with her. I said, VG, I typed her on Facebook. I said, guess what? I said, I've been invited to serve as global chairperson for spirituality. And she immediately, she immediately came back and she said, okay, well, in that sector, what's one question would you ask women? And I said, that's easy. I would ask, what's their relationship with God? So she said, okay, what you may want to do then, Anita, is get about 100 names and ask women. So what I'm doing, I'm collating, I'm gathering 100 sisters, even probably more than that. And I'm going to add some blogs and asking them, what's your relationship with God? And impromptu, not a polished answer, not something that you think about, because this book that I want, because like I said, I believe in energy. So I have read things and I said, well, that is so pretty. That is beautiful. The energy of it was pretty and beautiful. But I would ask, if someone asked me, did it touch your heart? And I would have to say, well, no, it didn't get there, but it was pretty. I want this book to be raw. I want, when a sister read that book, perhaps she's unsure what her relationship is. Perhaps she's unsure how to define what the creator, whatever name you give it, energy. Perhaps she will resonate with the sister's answer in this book. And it'll be raw, because I want it to touch your heart.
I think that's very impressive and very big plan for impacting globally, not only just 100 lives. And by gathering those energy in the form of creating a book or writing. So, Dr. Anita, when you are sharing these idea or these work which you are impacting other people's life, we are here to inspire and motivate globally. What message would you like to give to the audience and viewers who are listening and watching you globally?
I would say, touch on trust, tap into you, build up your intuition because it is very powerful. It is very loving. It is there protecting you, serving you. Recognize that you are a goddess. Recognize that you are worthy. Recognize that you are deserving. Recognize that you are enough. Recognize that you are here to express the attributes of the universe. And because of that, that means are. You are so beautiful.
So powerful and so important for all of us who are listening and watching. Uh, Last but not least, what would you like to say to having such platform like this? Women Dialogue is needed or important.
Oh, what can I say? Women dialogue. I mean, the the first thing in everything is love. The second is communication. And what is women dialogue? That is communication. This format is so, it's paramount. It is so important that this is in existence. And I thank you, Dr. Sashi, that for what you are doing. Absolutely. This is so necessary because this is part of the intermingling with the universal love. Because it's only one love. It's one love, one energy, and it's one sisterhood. And sharing dialogue, women dialogue means to share, to communicate. And that's how we grow. That's how we grow together. That's how we grow collectively. That's how we grow individually. That's how we grow in unity. So thank you, my beautiful sister, for this platform.
Oh my
Absolutely.
gosh. Thank
Absolutely.
you. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much, Dr. Anita, for such a powerful and such an encouraging word. At the same time, you are creating the change. Being on this platform, you are sharing your voice globally with other female who are listening and getting inspired what they are, what they can be. That is super powerful. I really love the way you mentioned how we can create having these women dialogues. So thank you so much for sharing your energy. I can say in your way. I would like to say that thank you so much for sharing your energy, your spirituality with us, being with us on this platform and sharing globally. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. And I just have to give shout out to, the founder of All Ladies League, Dr. Harbeen Aurora. I'm sitting here today because of the blessing that she created the All Ladies League. I don't know how she did it. I think she's an amazing woman. Creating All Ladies League, founded in 2011. I mean, it's 250,000 sisters strong, and it's built on love. So I have to say thank you. I have to give her a shout out, as we say here in the States. I gotta give my sister a shout out, Dr. Harbeen Aurora, founder of All Ladies League. Yes, ma'am. Yes, absolutely. So and I want to thank you, Dr. Shashi. Thank you for this privilege. This is absolutely a blessing. I'm just all tickled. You got the little girl in me
Thank
coming out.
you. No, that's always exciting. And I love that way, being real, being authentic, what way we are. And thank you so much. And thanks to all viewers who are listening and watching us. And if you want to be a part of this Women Dialogues, please connect with us. Please share, subscribe, and like. And don't forget to check Dr. Anita's work. Her details are available in the description as well. Till then, take care. See you in the next episode. Bye bye.